Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are doing the luxury makeup starter kit tag. This was started by my friends Angela Van Rose and Michelle Wong. They came out with this, I think this week or last week, and it's basically just going through all the questions related to building or starting a luxury makeup kit. So that's today's video. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. As you know, I have my online beauty consulting service, which is where you get the chance to talk to me one-on-one live through a Zoom chat. I have a half-hour and a full-hour session available. So if you have an extensive makeup collection and want a fresh set of eyes, or if you'd like some advice on purchasing some makeup but you don't want the sales pressure that's found in a department store, that is the perfect reason or opportunity to book a consultation with me. So just go ahead and click the link in the description box. It's my website with the scheduling calendar. Pick the date and time that works best for you. Okay, so question number one, where should someone start when it comes to luxury makeup? So I think there are two general categories. There are the color girls like me. So you want eyeshadow color. You don't just want a neutral, but you want color, lip color, bold shades that you can see, or more of the natural girl, let's say, someone who just wants an even base. You're not necessarily going to do lots of eyeshadow, lots of blush and lipstick. You want foundation. I think having those two general categories will help you out. I personally was the color girl. I got into makeup, into luxury makeup, because I wanted better eyeshadows. I was sick of going to the drugstore and squatting in the makeup counter or makeup aisles looking for eyeshadow and then going home and applying it and having it disappear as I applied. So for me, I started off with eyeshadow. I would literally do a full eye, eyeshadow primer, eyeshadows, several colors, liner, mascara, and absolutely no face makeup. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but that's what I did. So for me, I went into eyeshadows first. Question number two, is there anything you should stay away from? So in the context of luxury makeup, it is expensive, obviously, and there are certain categories that you don't necessarily have to get into. I have to say nail polish, unfortunately. I love nail polish. I do my own nails. I have absolutely no problem buying luxury nail polish, but if you're just going to start dipping your toes into luxury makeup, maybe this is not for you, because it is very expensive for what it is. It does not necessarily last any longer. Most of my luxury nail polishes last me 7 days. That's it. They're not gonna last 3 weeks. That you need a gel manicure, not just a regular nail polish. So if you're going to get into luxury makeup, you can probably skip nail polish. It's nice, it's extra, but it's not going to be longer lasting than your regular Essie or OPI nail polish. Question three, if you could only purchase one category of luxury makeup for the rest of your life, what would it be? I think it would be eyeshadow. I mean, that probably makes sense considering my first question, but I just have these vivid memories of the drugstore, the makeup aisles, and just sifting through the little plastic cases, getting home, seeing absolutely no color, regardless of what it looked like in the palette, having the shadows crease on me as I applied them. It was a mess. I was so dissatisfied, and I think that's why I got into more luxury makeup right away with eyeshadows. So if I could only pick one category of makeup here for me to buy luxury makeup, it would be eyeshadows, because I would be very happy. I would have so much color. Question number four. What is one luxury makeup brand you would recommend for someone starting out? Does it even need to be said? I would go with Chanel. To me, Chanel makeup is just the epitome of luxury. It is a brand and an image and an aesthetic that a lot of us strive towards. When you go to the boutique or to the counter, the chairs have that quilted tweed Chanel, not logo, but just like that image. And it's just, you know, when you buy luxury, you buy into the image, into the brand, into just the whole spirit of whatever brand it is, whether it's Tom Ford or Dior or whatever it is. You feel like, as a client, even though you're just buying a lipstick or a whatever, you feel like you're part of that family in a way. You're part of that whole image, that whole group, and it's a really nice feeling. So for me, I would say Chanel because of all of that. And also, I just think that from top to bottom, they have a lot of great products. Like, not every single item they make is fabulous. I really don't like their eyeshadow primers. I don't think that they're good, but they have great shadows, great lipsticks, great foundations, great concealers, great blushes, mascaras, liners, perfume, skincare. Like, you truly can get everything you need. And also, I think if you're sort of dipping your toe into luxury makeup and you're, you know, a little unsure, Chanel is also great because the more classic Chanel makeup look, like for example, when you go to a counter, you can sort of see the style and aesthetic and taste of that brand represented in the sales associates. You know, some counters might have more bold liners, like graphic liner, more bold colors. Some counters might just do more of a glowy pink cheek. And if you go to Chanel, the makeup taste and style is more classic. It's not going to be like in your face. It's going to just be more French, classic, chic. And so if you want to sort of be eased into a makeup look, if you want advice, if you want help with makeup, I would say Chanel, because you can afterwards dip into some more bold, bright colors. But if you want something more classic, just very elegant, I say Chanel all the way. Question number 5. What is one luxury makeup brand you would tell someone to stay away from? The shade of it all. I'm trying to think, because I've tried a lot of makeup over the years, a lot of luxury brands, a lot of products. I don't think there's one brand that I've had like bad experiences across the board. Like, we've all had our flops and bops, but a brand that's like terrible. There is one category in a certain brand that I would not recommend to someone getting into makeup or getting into luxury makeup. For this, it would have to be Sisley, their foundations. Now, I have a couple of their foundations. I have the Ultra Éteint something, hold on. It's the Phyto Teint Ultra Éclat from Sisley. I love the foundation. I love how it wears. I love how it looks. However, the reason I'm saying this as something you should stay away from is because the Sisley foundation shade range is abysmal. It's very, very small. It's not inclusive whatsoever. And the shade range in Sisley, for some reason, lacks any and all nuance. So this one is number 2 plus sand. So you would think that, like, if you're a little bit darker than me, that you would pick number 3. Hold on to your hats, because their shades jump so much. It's not that like the next shade is a little bit darker or lighter. It's that it's at least 2 shades darker and way more cool or way more warm. There is absolutely no nuance between the shade range whatsoever. So it just jumps a lot. Like, I'd say at least 2 or 3 shades in either direction. So if you're starting out in makeup, their shade range is not for you unless you have like a very clear idea of your undertones. And I would generally not recommend their foundations unless you can physically go to a counter, swatch a few shades, or get some samples. And I've said this many times because, like, I like this foundation a lot. I wear it, but I bought this online and it only fits me now because I spent some time in Barbados in January. If you buy these online, like if you look at the shade range, it looks normal. You know, it says like 1, 2, etc., etc. But I swear there is such a huge jump in between the shades that it's just not something I would recommend personally. Unless, like I said, if you can get yourself to a counter, if you can try these out, if you can get some samples and try it out at home, like good. But otherwise, unfortunately, no, no merci. Okay, question number 6. What is one makeup brand you wish you tried sooner? This for me is Tom Ford. I don't know why, but it took me so long to get into Tom Ford makeup. He's been very popular in cosmetics with his fragrances and makeup for some time now. I think as long as I've been doing beauty YouTube for like 4 or 5 years, he's been around doing makeup. But I think there was just something about the aesthetic. Like some of his ads were just like a little bit gross to me, like very, very sexual, but like a little bit too much for me and just kind of turned me off. And a lot of people talked about his makeup, his eyeshadows, especially, you know, I'm an eyeshadow girl. And I don't know why, I just couldn't really get into it. A lot of his palettes online, like his promo photos, look so different than the actual products, which isn't, you know, special to Tom Ford. But I also found that a lot of his palettes looked so similar to each other. Like there was like subtle nuances, and I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. And then something happened this year, and I think a little bit last year too, that I just started trying out his eyeshadows, and now I have I think like a dozen of his quads maybe. A friend of mine gifted me some of hers that she wasn't using, so I was like, okay, I'll try them. She was right, thank you. I think they're great. I've been trying, right now I'm wearing Suspicion, which is the most beautiful warm tone like JLo Goddess eyeshadow quad. I bought Rose Topaz that came out in the spring. I've gotten mostly into his eyeshadows. I don't think I have anything else from him. As you can see, I'm an eyeshadow girl, so it makes sense that I start off with eyeshadow. I realize that I love the brand, and then I keep going. I want to try his lipsticks. I would like to try, I have a bronzer. I'm wearing one of his bronzers, what's it called? The Tom Ford Soleil Glow Bronzer, number 2, Terra. It's the bronzer that I've been using nonstop. It's just so gorgeous. It's so natural, and it doesn't look orange. It just looks like I just got back from the beach, which I did, but like a month ago, unfortunately. But it just looks so beautiful. And so I want to get into, I saw some palettes that looked like half blush, half highlighter that looked gorgeous. I bought one of his blushes, like a blush duo that came out last year. I thought it was fine. It wasn't great. But just in general, it's a brand that I'm like, wow, like I get it. Like I totally get the hype, and I wish I had gotten into it sooner, but thankfully he has a lot of great permanent collection items. I'm thinking of getting the palette Honeymoon because it looks really pretty, and eventually I'll get into foundation. It's funny, I think for some people foundation is like the first thing they buy. For me, I mean, I was happy for years wearing a full eyeshadow look without foundation, so foundation is like the last thing I get in a brand. All right, question 7. Would you recommend spending money on makeup or skincare? I would say skincare, because it doesn't matter the quality of makeup you have or how much makeup you have. If you don't like your skin for whatever reason, you're going to hate your makeup. Like your makeup will look terrible to you if your skin is not what you want it to be. If it's too dry, if you're not exfoliating, if you're not moisturizing, if you have some hyperpigmentation you haven't worked on, if you have acne, whatever it is, like you need a good skincare base before you put anything on, because everything else it's like the foundation of a house. If the foundation of the house is tilted or off, the house is going to be tilted or off. So I would say skincare. Back in the days in my early 20s when I was going out in public with like a full like smoky eye, tons of liner, mascara, absolutely no face makeup, I still washed my face every single night. I used like MAC makeup wipes back in the day. I didn't know any better. Makeup wipes are okay, but you should go in with a cleanser afterwards just to get everything off. So, and I was wearing moisturizer. I wasn't wearing a sunscreen yet, but I was at least doing like the minimum of washing my face and moisturizing. Okay, question 8. Why do you personally love luxury makeup? I think I touched on this on a previous question. I don't remember which one, but I was talking about like when you go into a department store and you see every counter and everything is different at each counter, like the lighting, the displays, the posters, even the makeup that different associates are wearing, if it's a lot of makeup or no makeup, just their whole, like the vibe, the ambiance. I like being able to see myself and my taste and my aesthetic reflected in the brand. And you don't get that in a drugstore, like you just don't. And you know, something I have to say is that you can drive a Lexus the same way that you can drive a Toyota. But if you have the option, why not drive a Lexus? That's how I feel about life in general. And so if you have the option of using luxury makeup, why not? You know, life is short. Spend your money. You earned it. I love a good department store. I think it's so sad that Barney's closed because that was one of my favorite department stores. I would only visit it when I would go into the States, but I love Holt Renfrew here in Canada. I just love a department store. It's so elegant, it's chic, it's bougie. It makes you feel more elevated, more high status when you go into a department store and see all the luxury counters and the boutiques. It's just a nice, pleasant experience. And now you can go back into the restaurant for lunch and just like the whole thing from top to bottom. I love a department store. I love luxury makeup. I just love everything about it. You know, it's a random little thing that brings me joy in life and I just enjoy it. Next question. This is question 9. Should luxury makeup brushes be invested in? Yes, absolutely. It doesn't matter which eyeshadow palettes you buy. If you don't have good eyeshadow brushes, good luck. It's not going to work. Imagine if you were cooking dinner and the only utensils you had to prepare your meal was like a plastic knife and fork. How would that go? Not very well. So you definitely do need to spend some money on some luxury brushes. I have MAC eyeshadow brushes. I don't know if MAC is considered luxury, maybe more high end. They're not the softest. I like MAC eyeshadow brushes more than their face brushes, but I have MAC eyeshadow brushes that I've been using for 14 years and they're still holding up. The bristles are still there. They are great quality. But it's more their eyeshadow brushes than face brushes because their face brushes are not very soft. But MAC, I would say BK Beauty, really great. They're very, very incredibly soft brushes, especially for face. They're so wonderful. Refer brushes. A lot of like Bobbi Brown also makes great brushes. Chantecaille. Even like Sephora brand, which is more high end, but they make some good brushes. Like I enjoy the Sephora brand foundation brush and concealer brush a lot. I think it's great. So you will have to spend some money on some makeup brushes, otherwise it's not going to work well. Question 10, should luxury perfumes be invested in? So again, I'm going back to my college days here. I remember vividly Victoria's Secret, the body sprays, and the scented body lotions. And I remember just like dousing myself in those body sprays and they would last about 20 minutes. I mean, the time it took me to leave my college dorm and walk to a class, it would just sort of evaporate. And I enjoyed it. I don't remember what the name was, but it was like the purple line, whatever that line was, like the purple line. I really enjoyed it then. But I think as far as fragrance goes, spending a bit more money definitely helps it last much longer. I just think it lasts longer and it also ends up smelling nicer. Sometimes like the cheaper body sprays somehow turn a little bit, like they just are not that nice. I mean, listen, if you like it, I love it. But for me personally, I would much rather spend money on something that's going to be a bit nicer, it's going to last longer, and it's also just going to hold up and continue smelling nice all day. Question 11, designer or niche perfumes? So here is where I think I deviate from like everyone else in like the luxury sphere. Listen, I've tried some niche perfumes. There's two that I like. I like Victoria Minia. I think she's Hungarian, but she lives in Paris. And I've also tried BDK perfumes. Those are two like niche brands. And by niche, it means like a perfume or fragrance house that only does scents. They only do fragrance. They might do a candle. They might do like a room spray, but they only do perfume. Whereas luxury or designer is like, like Tom Ford, he's a designer, but he also does perfume. We have Chanel, clearly a fashion house, but they also do fragrance, Dior, Guerlain, etc. I have tried some niche perfumes, and the best example here is Maison François Kurdistan and the Baccarat Rouge. That fragrance allegedly is like the top of the top, the most luxurious, the most niche, the most high-end fragrance on the market. I think it is one of the most disgusting things I have ever smelled in my entire life. I have a stronger aversion to that fragrance than Thierry Mugler Angel. I would rather spray myself in Angel than that perfume. That perfume on me smells like, imagine a wet wool sock that has a bunch of like nickels and pennies, but it's like soaking wet, and then they shoved a seasoned steak inside that sock. Baccarat Rouge smells like that. It smells like that on the paper. It smells even worse on me. I have no idea why. I mean, everyone else that I know loves it. Everyone loves that perfume. And I'm like, absolutely not. No thanks. I have tried some niche perfumes that I've preferred, but I would rather wear designer. I would rather wear Lancôme La Vie est Belle. I would rather wear Guerlain, Mon Guerlain. I would rather wear Mademoiselle. And you know what? Do you know what I really, really love? I love Juicy Couture. I love that perfume line. I don't care. It smells like a vanilla cupcake. Perfect. I love those. I don't care. I have nothing to prove. If I have a full face of Tom Ford with a Juicy Couture perfume, I prefer it. I like the smell. I don't care that it's simple. I don't care that it doesn't transform into leather and then orange over the span of the day. Why would I want to smell like that? I just want a perfume that smells nice, and I don't care if it smells sweet or young or cheap. I don't have anything to prove. I think it smells great, and those types of fragrances that I mentioned, those are the ones that I get the most compliments on. Like, people will stop me and ask me what I'm wearing because on me it smells amazing. So clearly the niche perfume market is not for me. Like, maybe that sounds counter-indicative of my luxury channel, but I don't care. Like, I want the perfume to smell good on me. So I don't care if it's like the most niche, $2,000 bottle of perfume. If it smells like a wet sock and a steak on me, why would I spend my money on that? No, thank you. The first time I tried this perfume, thankfully, I was in the comfort of my own home. A sales associate from Holt Renfrew had sent me a sample for me to try out. Thank goodness I was at home, because if I had been at the counter, I don't know if I could have hid my shock and disgust. I feel gaslit by the entire luxury beauty world because everyone else, all of my colleagues here think it is the best perfume. They think it is like the wealthiest smelling perfume. And I'm like, you know what? I will take Juicy Couture any time of day over that. I got heated there for a second. Question 12. Where is the best place to shop when you're getting started? So I'm going to reference this for Canada because we normally get skipped and looked over. So I would say Holt Renfrew is the best place to get into luxury makeup because they have all of the counters basically. And The best thing to do is to just consistently shop through the same sales associates because they get commission whether you buy Tom Ford or Charlotte Tilbury or Chantecaille or Guerlain. They make money, so they will help you out. And if you consistently purchase through the same person, you will definitely get much more samples because you're helping them get commission. So why wouldn't they give you samples? You know, places like that do tend to have samples. Like they don't have like a samples factory in the back room, so they can't just like make everything that you want. But if you build that sort of like friendly relationship with a sales associate, they will definitely help you. And they all like talk to each other, so they all know roughly when new collections are coming out. You know, they all have like books with like every month, the whole year, what releases are coming out. So even if you want to know a new release for a different brand, you can just tell them, hey, I want to buy XYZ. Let me know when it comes in and I'll buy it from you. They will definitely call you. They will definitely text you. So I would definitely say that is the best place to go. Go to Holt Renfrew, find someone that you vibe with, exchange numbers, and get the ball rolling. And then I think that'll definitely help you out. Okay, question number 13. If you only have $200, what would you buy? I'm going to go ahead and guess this is 200 US, not Canadian. Let's play with that. I think I would purchase most of what I'm wearing today. I would start off with eyeshadow, of course. I would go with the Tom Ford Suspicion palette. I just think it looks so beautiful. It's like warm, and all of these shadows in the quad are more shimmery, satiny, but they're very beautiful. I would then go with this lipstick. This is the Chanel Rouge Coco, number 440 Arthur. A beautiful red, a little bit of warm, a little bit of orange. It's a perfect pair with this eyeshadow here. How much is that? How much is the eyeshadow? Like 90 US? Lipstick is like 40, 45. And then I would go with a concealer because let's just pretend I'm not doing a full face. Let's pretend I'm Allie back in like 2010 or something. So I would go with the concealer. I would go with the Clé de Peau concealer. This concealer is amazing. It's this one here. It's on every like cult beauty list here. It's this concealer. It's the best on the market. I've tried so many. I have other ones that I love, but this one here is the one that I can't live without. I know it's been reformulated. It hasn't come to Canada yet, so I'll get it. I'll do a test once it gets here, but I would definitely get this concealer here. How much is this one? I think it's pretty expensive. So I think that is about $200, give or take, because the concealer is $75. If I was gonna squeeze anything else in there, I would squeeze in the Tom Ford bronzer. I think that's way over budget, but I think with that, I could do a full face, like conceal, eyeshadow, lipstick, and then I would use the lipstick as blush and then bronzer. I would be very happy with that. Next question, number 14. What was your first luxury makeup purchase? Did you regret it? My first luxury makeup purchase would have been with Dior, and this was the Dior Miss Chérie Eau de Parfum circa 2009, 2010, 2011. They reformulated this perfume, but that fragrance was so good. It was sweet, it was caramelly, it had like notes of popcorn and coffee. It was the nicest perfume. I wore that every single day. People would smell the fragrance. If someone else wore the perfume, they thought it was me because that was my fragrance. I would wear it every single day. It didn't matter where I was going, what I was doing. I was wearing that perfume. I went through at least, I think, 2 or 3 bottles, and then they reformulated it. My first real heartbreak when they reformulated that perfume. It was so good. And I have the new one now. It's fine. It's fine. But it's not the original. And that wasn't even the original. That was just one of their versions. I wish I had known. I mean, back then I didn't have the money to buy backups. I would buy the new one when I had like this much left. If ever they bring that back. I don't think they will. I don't think they ever bring back old fragrances, but I wish they would bring it back. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. My only regret is that I didn't get more of it. I remember being devastated when I went to Shoppers Drug Mart Shoppers Drug Mart is like, in the UK, it's like Boots. And in the US, I don't think you have a Shoppers Drug Mart. Shoppers Drug Mart is like, imagine a Target and a CVS. It's just a pharmacy, but it, depending on the size, can have some household stuff, but they also sell luxury makeup. They have Chanel, Dior, Guerlain, like lots of other great brands. And so they have this points system that's fabulous. It's one of the best out there. It's a great points system. So I would buy my Dior Miss Chérie Eau de Parfum with my points. And I remember going to Pharmaprix and learning it was discontinued and being so devastated. Okay, last question here, number 15. What is your biggest luxury makeup regret? I don't have that many, but there is one makeup item that is burned in my memory. This is from Natasha Denona. This is like, I think the mini retro gold palette. It was one of her mini palettes that came out a couple of years ago. It was one of the worst eyeshadows I've ever used. It had 5 colors. Something about the formula, maybe it was that one, maybe it was defective, but as I was filming, it was supposed to be this sort of like olive color with like gold, warm palette. As I applied it, as I was filming, it turned into the most disgusting mustard poop brown eyeshadow as I was filming live. Like I was doing my makeup and I was like, what is happening? I primed, I did like the regular steps that I always do. I used clean brushes, all that. It was just disgusting. Like I returned it. Like something has to be bad for me to return it. And I was like, there is no way that I can make this work. I tried a couple times, but it was just bad. Like, wow. And she keeps coming out with more makeup. People keep asking me if I want to buy whatever new release she has. And I'm like, no merci. That was traumatizing. I think, I haven't tried anything else from Natasha Denona because, as I said, I am an eyeshadow girl. So I get drawn into color. I get drawn into eyeshadows. And I had such a bad reaction that I'm like, why would I try anything else she comes out with? That was such a scarring experience. So I think that would be my regret. Although I was able to get my money back. So that was great for me. But that is it for the tag. This was so fun. Thank you, Angela, and thank you, Michelle. This was a lot of fun. I felt like I was reminiscing and thinking about, 10 years ago, or no, 14 years ago when I was getting into makeup. Like, what did I want? Things like that. This was a lot of fun. So I should definitely look for more tag videos because these are just like really delightful and fun to do. So make sure you go check out Angela and Michelle's videos. I will put them in the description box down below. If you're new to my channel, I talk about nothing but luxury beauty. I also have a series on my channel called Beauty History, where I talk about different fashion icons like Chanel, Dior, Guerlain, etc. And I basically do a documentary on their life, their legacy, their impact, etc. So that might interest you, that might not, but I suggest you subscribe to my channel anyway and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. And I think that's it. That's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.